Hello. So just responding to some more questions from people. Uh, River of Wellness is a river of questions that we can use to make videos with. But that's great. That's great because I think he's sort of in a position, or she, I'm not sure, is in a position that I was in, several months ago. Uh, uh, they said that they appreciate my formula for anxiety, and they said I'm definitely a tinnitus warrior, and it's helping to keep them move more and more toward the habituation, and have the belief that they'll get there. And the question that they're asking is, after applying all the tips, then does the tinnitus seem to be more okay? Yeah, meaning that you can make friends and just be fine with it. Yes, yes, and that fight or flight reaction starts to go away, and he's starting to have glimmers of hope that in silence for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. So yeah, I don't know if you actually feel total silence. I never have total silence. Let me turn off this fan so I have as silent as possible. But what does happen is the sound is there, and it's just outside of my conscious thought. So that's the best I'm able to get, unfortunately. I wish I could get total silence. Wouldn't that be great? But unfortunately, it's just maybe not possible for me. I hope one day it will be. But it doesn't stress me out. I'm just used to it. It's there. It's like I've mentioned in many previous videos, just like the feeling of the clothes on my body. I don't think about it all the time. Oh my God, I can feel my clothes on my body. It's just something that's part of me and that I can't do anything about. So that's what how I have to think about it. I have another problem with I have a toe where the bone has grown a little bit extra, and sometimes I feel a sensation there. But it doesn't mean that I'm going crippled. But it's easy for me to think about it. Oh my God, this toe, and then every time I walk, I feel it. But what's interesting is when I stop worrying about it, I don't feel it anymore. or I feel it much less. So we're allowed to have problems and with our body, and it's not a sign that our life is over or that we're going down quick. But yeah, things happen. And but in the case of tinnitus or my toe, these are not things that are going to send me to the grave anytime soon, and I can rest assured that I'm going to be okay. But I know sometimes it's just it's rough, dealing with certain situations. So yeah. Now, also William Justice asked, do you find spikes in your tinnitus from alcohol or caffeine or something that you eat? Um, I've done pretty good. I will have spikes of anxiety sometimes, but I don't. I kind of feel like I've made friends with the tinnitus itself. There's been a couple times I remember when I was in a very loud place, and then after. So one time a couple times went and sang karaoke, and then afterwards I remember being in the car driving home, and I could really hear the tinnitus. It had spiked after being in that noisy environment. So that might be something where I might want to consider wearing earplugs. I also go dancing a lot, and they can be loud music, but I don't want to have to wear earplugs while I'm dancing with people and not be able to hear them talking to me. So I don't know. That's something I've thought about, but it doesn't seem to spike quite as much if I don't go to a place where the music is really loud. And fortunately, there is a place that I go dancing where it's a little loud, but it's not super loud. So maybe it spikes the tinnitus a little bit, and I'm just hopeful that it won't ruin that for me. I don't think it will. I think I'll be fine. Um, you know, when it comes to if spiking the tinnitus is also related to anxiety, then when you talk about alcohol, caffeine, something you eat, if you eat too much sugar, it can make you all bubbly and have a lot of energy. Same thing with caffeine, but then it can also make you a little bit tense, and then that can lead to anxiety. I mean, the same thing with alcohol. Alcohol can have its pattern of up and down. So maybe after you come down off the alcohol or the next day, you could feel a little bit more stressed if you drank too much alcohol. So I guess really, you know, moderation is the key here. Um, I quit alcohol and caffeine for, I think, nearly a year, which I had never done that in my life. I also stopped biting my fingernails, which I had done for a long time. Um, and I don't know why I did and why it took me so long to stop, but I stopped. Um, but with the alcohol and caffeine, see if you can reduce it a little bit. Why not? If it might help you, does it really help you to have these things if they make you more anxious? And might there be a formula where you would actually feel better, Because sometimes something like alcohol, it can make you feel really good. And it's nice to feel good, don't get me wrong. But if it does this little number, that can be kind of bad, right? So, that's something you have to make a decision for yourself about. But I've sort of decided that I'll have a glass of wine, maybe two. I think once or twice since I've started drinking again. I might have had a little more than two glasses, but hey, that's not too bad, right? I never have. Well, I'll take that back. There's a few times in the last 10 years where went on a little run where my neighbor would have me over to their house and they would give me a lot to drink, and it was vodka, and I didn't I think I drank too much. One time I even got sick. But I try to take a night off sometimes, and since I'm only having one or two glasses, I don't really feel like it's a huge deal. But I think you can even tell that I'm a little bit like, oh my God, am I drinking too much? I think I'm okay with a glass or two, even if I do it almost every day. But I try to take a day off. With the caffeine, I'm pretty much off of coffee. Or if I have coffee, it's going to be like this much. Tea, it doesn't have that much caffeine in it, so not too bad. So I highly recommend stuff like green tea and regular tea, because it has caffeine, but it doesn't have such a big spike. And I guess with tinnitus, we're trying to avoid these kind of emotions. It doesn't mean we can't have a good time and stuff, but I'm just talking about the emotional side. Where you can kind of have a downer and then get stressed and all that. So that's sort of what I feel. Are there any more comments that we've had recently? I think that I can go here and get some more comments, I think. That mostly is what I've got to. Oh, there we go. See, Josh Dodd. He said the forum YouTube gives you and your willingness to make these videos is awesome. And you're obviously helping people to push on and lead their best life and persevere through adversity. Good. I hope so. I hope I can help you. In one video, you made reference to maybe being famous to a few. But I know there are people with a lot of followers, but the person that they are following doesn't really mean that much to them. Okay, right, yeah. So where you have a following of people that are actually helping, and in turn they care about you and how you are doing, is great. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, quality, If we could find quality friendships to have, isn't that the most important? And sometimes, we ourselves maybe have reached a state of low quality. we got tinnitus really bad, and we can't deal with but then we run into the right person, and then it changes us into moving to an incline again toward a higher quality of life. So just being in touch with the right people, can make all the difference. So it's good if you've got tinnitus and you're having trouble. It's good that you're trying to go after, how to find a solution that'll work. And I know I searched and searched and hoping I could make it go away. And I guess it turns out I can't. But it also turns out that I've met a lot of people and I've done a lot of thinking, and it's helped me to be able to cope with it and interact with some people about it too. So that's all I've got for today. So thank you very much, and I'll hopefully see you again soon.